Good afternoon. How are you today? Well, it's a beautiful day. It's getting chillier. We'll be in the 30s in no time. It's still in the 50s, and the sun is marvelous. And I'm assuming that my exercise will warm me up. It has so far. The developments on the Hill. Let's start with that before we get to the Supreme Court. The developments on the Hill are not good in the sense of getting agreement on infrastructure. And I almost hate myself for being right so long ago, because I hoped that somebody would find the genius way to make this work. And it's not dead yet, but it's on life support. The representatives of the Democratic caucus in the House don't want to go forward with the bipartisan bill until they're assured that the reconciliation bill, which is $1.75 trillion, is also going. And today we got kind of a spike because Manchin basically said, while he's supporting what's going on in the House because it was the Senate bill that had the bipartisan support, he's becoming more clear that his heart is not with the $1.75 trillion bill in the Senate that requires his votes and Sinema's votes. So it's not over yet, but it's not good. It's not good at all. I think it's kind of interesting. This is kind of a sidebar. Not that there's any any sequence to what I'm talking about. These are just things that strike me as I walk, stimulated by the air and the day, and sometimes the animus as an Irishman for really bad ideas. But I got a kick out of the Post having the energy to tell Trump to go pound sand when he wanted his responses to their three-part series on what happened on January 6th. He wanted to answer it. And they said, no, I'm not going to publish this stuff. It's not true. Now, how about that? More people who are commentators and who are hosts and so forth on all the channels, print and electronic, should follow that model, I think. And now, some of you, maybe all of you, who are listening to me walk and talk, followed the Supreme Court today. And I thought that the argument went very well in this sense. It outlined how this device that Texas came up with could be utilized with bounty proceedings to avoid state action by having private bounty hunters go out and sue you. Now, this has a chilling effect, because once you know that somebody can hit you for $10,000 or for each abortion as a provider that you did, or you as an individual who had an abortion, maybe because you couldn't afford a child or it was unwanted, but not within one of the categories. In any case, that chilling effect, since September the 1st, I think, when it became effective, has affected quite a number of people who would have abortions. And I'm hopeful that some way or other they got to the border states around Texas so that they didn't have an unwanted child. But you never know these days. In any case, there's a lot of talk about a case called Ex parte Young. And basically there was kind of a fiction in that case, because they wanted to say the federal government couldn't tell the state what to do, and that's a little problematic. And Ex parte Young's a case, if I'm right, I think it's like 1908. So a few things have changed since 1908. And what they kind of got around it was that they basically said the officers that they were prosecuting for unconstitutional violations were not acting on behalf of the state. They were acting on behalf of themselves, and so therefore there was no problem. And it was a contempt case, and I won't go into detail, but that's different than what we're talking about here. And I think one of the things that's going to help us win this case, in the sense of perhaps staying it while it's being further argued and considered in the several courts, is that groups like the Second Amendment and other groups that have individual rights and liberties are concerned that any state, including those Democratic states, might pass the same bill and do something about guns or do something about some other issue that at this point is protected by law, but might not be protected if they use the same device that the Texans devised. Isn't that wonderful? In any case, there were remarks both by Amy Barrett, very strong pro-life, very anti-Roe v. Wade. And Kavanaugh, similar and different in his feelings about the law. And their Q&A suggested that they would not support Texas in this. And my hero, Associate Justice Breyer, he was fabulous. He listed all the consequences of this formula that Texas is using to, I thought, great effect. And I can just see it in his proposed dissent or his opinion, or lifted up by somebody else. So there were no slackers among the three judges on the bench we depend upon. Roberts had some good questions. So we'll know soon, and I'm hopeful that they're going to at least shut down the Texas operation until they've had a chance to consider it. I don't know what they'll do in December with the Mississippi bill, but that's coming around the corner. So, interesting day, mixed information, nice Monday. Leaves are turning gloriously, and the weather has got a nip in it, but it's really good. And so maybe you can see some of the colors around me as I walk, you know. You see the yellows and the browns and the reds and so forth. So have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.